3 up, 2 across, tap that play button 3 times, and walk through the archway into Dialogue Alley. Hello, and welcome to the podcast. Dialogue Alley is a show about Harry Potter books, book translations, and all other things magical. I'm Melanie from the Harry Potter collection, and with me today is Carly from All the Pretty Books.
Hello.
And Erik from Nocturne Erik.
Hey, what potion are we making today?
Oh my god. And that, my friends, is a dad joke for you.
I thought we'd try something. I thought I'd try something new.
Oh my god. Erik has been highlighted as the dad. Oh my god.
Well, I am a dad, so it's fine.
You gotta have the dad jokes.
I typically love dad jokes, and I don't know.
I don't think that was a dad joke. Hey, what potion are we making today?
It was a dad joke, for sure.
Okay.
All right. Well, Erik, Carly, and I are all Harry Potter. I almost just said. I'm going to start that again. It's going to be one of those shows. Hold on to your broomsticks. Okay. Carly, Erik, and I are Harry Potter book translation collectors. We collect Harry Potter books in different translations, different cover arts. We collect rare Harry Potter books. Some of us collect signatures, all sorts of cool Harry Potter, fun things. And we decided to make a podcast about it. So here we are.
Here it is.
Here we are.
And yeah, that's a little bit about us. If you're just tuning in, we're up to episode 23. Whoa.
Yeah,
crazy.
So cool.
I'm so proud of us.
Me too.
You know, there are people that I talk to that are like, "Wow, I got to start way over to episode 1," and I say, "No, you pick and choose the topic you want. Not the episodes don't rely on you having listened to the previous episode."
Exactly.
I agree. I mean, you might miss some of our inside jokes. I feel like we have established some like funny little things across, and we do refer back to some episodes sometimes. But yeah, I feel like when I first listened to you guys before I was on the podcast, I listened to the episodes all completely out of order.
Yeah. Well, just pick your topic and go.
Yep. Well, and they're standalone episodes. That's what makes it fun.
That's right. So today on our episode, we're going to touch on a little bit of news, and then we are finally going to get into some listener mail, which we've been promising. And today is that day.
Fabulous.
And as always, we are going to get to a very fun translation of the show. And that's it. I was almost going to say, if we have time, we'll get to a question. But our whole episode is questions.
Yeah, we better have time for questions.
So we're going to have time for questions. So, Carly, let's get into some news.
So, Belarusian Book 3 is up for pre-order. I believe it actually is released like sometime around mid-October, if I remember properly. But it's up for pre-order through the publisher. I'm super excited. I wasn't sure that we would get this book in Belarusian. So, I'm going to actually work my way to try to get one. And for those who are curious, if you're having issues trying to get the books from the publisher, there's a seller out of Belarus on eBay selling Belarusian books 2 and 1. So I bet they'll also have 3 just at a little bit of a markup. So if you don't want to pre-order, you can do it that way also, probably.
I would honestly say at this point, like, that would probably be the most reliable way to get them, because the publisher, when book 1 came out, it was a pretty recent translation. And I mean, mine got lost in the mail between Queens and my house in Minneapolis. So like, at least they made it to the US, but I know some other people that just got completely ghosted by like emailing the publisher, and they never were able to actually like buy their books. I at least was able to buy them, and I knew they existed. They just got lost.
Right.
But other people got them and no problems at all. But then eventually they stopped responding to emails. So probably the eBay guy. I don't know who he is.
That's kind of where I'm going to go. I'm actually going to email the seller and see if they can help me with the pre-order bit of it. And if not, then I'll just be like, when you can buy it, let me know, and I'll buy it off you.
There you go.
I think that's fair.
And then we also have Bloomsbury put up that they're releasing the 25th anniversary Philosopher's Stone.
I'm so excited about this book.
Yeah, and it's gonna be featuring the original cover art by Thomas Taylor. There's gonna be a silver sticker that says 25th anniversary, and if I remember properly from the Bloomsbury post, it said that the sticker can be removed.
Dum dum dum.
But and it also, I believe, said that there's going to be a little bit of extra content in the book. So my first thought, of course, was, it's going to be confused with the first edition. We've got to be careful. But if there's extra content, that should be a big, flag, right?
Yeah.
Right.
It's just so many people are so quick to say it's a first edition when it has that cover art. And we know that's just not true.
I'm kind of hoping that because this is supposed to be this special edition book, that it might have silvered edges. That the pages might be silver, because the 25th anniversary is the silver anniversary, so that's why I guess they're going with a silver theme. So in my head, I'm kind of hoping that the pages are silver. In which case, that would be a dead giveaway that this is not a first edition book.
That would be a beautiful book, actually, with the
right?
silvered
Wouldn't
edges.
that be gorgeous?
Yeah, if they didn't think about you need to email them and be like, look. I know you didn't mention this, but this would be a great idea.
I know. That's what I'm really, really hoping for.
So that's it for the news. Let's get into our main segment.
And what is our main segment, you ask?
I'm not sure.
It's
questions.
a question.
It's
a question, like the one I just asked.
Oh man, I'm crying.
Sorry, everybody. So, as promised, when we run out of time, because we don't want to make these episodes 3 hours long every outing, so we've backlogged some good questions that we're going to answer. So we'll answer them all today for you, lovely listeners. And if you have another question, these are submitted to us either via our Instagram pages or our email, which is at dialoguealleypodcast@gmail.com. So you can always shoot us a question. If you don't want it read on the show, just let us know. Otherwise, we will read it on the show, or we'll read it on a show like this where it's all questions. So the first question we got is, how long have you all been friends?
Aww. Precious.
Yes. When did I meet you, Melanie?
So
2014?
13. I started my Instagram fall of 2013. And I think that I became friends with Peter pretty soon after that. And I think you and I became friends because, if we haven't already mentioned this on the podcast, it's actually a funny story. I made another Instagram account called The Keeper of the Keys, which is an account for my dog, and my dog's name is Rubius Hagrid. And for those of you who don't know, Carly also has a pet named Rubius Hagrid. So we both use the same hashtag of pet Harry Potter pet, or pet Rubius Hagrid or something like that. And that's actually how Carly and I found each other. Was because of that. And then it just turned out hey, you collect Harry Potter books, and you weren't even all the pretty books at that point.
No, I was under a different handle. I was on a handle called Gypsy Books because at the time, that's what my eBay selling name was. And then I changed it to All the Pretty Books because, I like it so much better. And that's what I was.
Yep, I remember. You were Gypsy Books, and we became friends because of our pets, and I just saw your account and was like, hey, you've got some cool Harry Potter books. I've got some cool Harry Potter books. Oh my gosh, you collect this? I collect this. Oh my gosh. Hey, wait, you know Peter? Oh my gosh, I know Peter. And then
it was such a small little world.
So cool. So cool. Yeah, so that's how long we've been friends for. And then
wow,
Erik joined. He's the newest to our squad.
I'm new. I'm the new kid.
He's the new kid, but we like him, so we keep him around.
I think my daughter was like 1.5 when I started like talking to both of you, and it was around the same time.
Yeah.
But you had
would've
been buying
been-
off me off eBay for a little bit.
Yes, I'd say that was like 3 years ago.
And then I believe I
yeah.
sent you an email on eBay, maybe trying to encourage you to get on Instagram. I know I did that to a few people. I'm not sure if I did it to you or not.
I don't even know how we found each other, but it was like maybe I was selling some stuff, and I don't even know, Eric, because we were talking before you had Instagram.
Yeah, that's true.
I don't
was
even
it on
know how.
Facebook or
Maybe.
on email? I don't know, because you got me on Instagram.
Right. And I remember
don't
like
know.
texting back and forth being like, what about this name for your Instagram? No, what about this name? Oh,
Yeah, I
let's
remember
think
that.
of this one. Because we were trying to think of
So
a
how?
cool handle.
I don't know how we started talking then. I must have bought something from you or
Well, Melanie, weren't you selling books on eBay at different points?
Yeah.
So
it's possible.
maybe you got a book off her off eBay, and y'all just started talking. And
Yeah, you might have
then-
like messaged me and said like, "Hey, do you have any other books or something like that?" I don't know.
that's probably it.
I bet
don't know
that
either.
I bet that was it.
I know I emailed Peter when I started to like get into the like really hard to find books. That was the first time I kind of was like, I need some more help from other people. And like, I don't know, maybe he mentioned both of you. I'm not sure.
I don't know.
But or maybe Carly mentioned you. Yeah, I don't know. But anyway, it's been about 3 years, a little more than 3.5 years.
Yeah,
Yeah.
definitely quite some time. We have been friends
Yeah.
for quite some time. Now I'm going back in like our like DM history from Instagram to see if there's any clues as to like
Oh, that'd be exciting.
how we
Well-
became friends.
Within the three of us, I think I'm the only one that hasn't met any of you in person.
Nope.
Which
I actually went to
know.
Melanie's
is kind
wedding.
of crazy.
Yep.
You did. I remember when Melanie got married. I sent you a card.
You
Yep.
did send me a card. I know. I have good Harry Potter friends. My good friends.
Yeah.
Melanie sent me some books pretty early on, and I sent her a video of my like 1.5-year-old opening them from the mail and getting so excited.
Let's see. Our first interaction, Eric, was me posting like that you joined Instagram. My friend and fellow collector Eric is finally on Instagram.
Yeah.
That was
Cool.
it. And that was in 2018. So it was a few years ago.
All
Oh
right.
my gosh, and your little girl was so little.
I know.
Oh my gosh. Crazy. So funny. Yeah, so I don't
That's
know how the
crazy.
magical started, but it did. And look at where we are now.
Yay.
Ta-da.
Amazing.
All right. Let's get to another question.
Yes.
How much does a Hungarian book one from 1998 sell for?
Ooh, I think this is the Indiana Jones one, right?
Yes.
Yeah, and we were just talking
We
about
were-
this
yeah, I
one.
think we were just talking about this one.
We were, and it's hard because they haven't sold on eBay in a while.
Well, right. And it's not that they're not selling, it's that there's not one for sale.
Right.
Right.
So,
The last one that I know of that's sold for about $150. But with all of that said, I feel like given how hard this book is becoming to find, I feel like $150 is kind of low.
yeah, this is more of like my advice that I tell people is if you want it, buy it, because this is one that's not being made anymore. So if you see one for sale,
And it's getting on higher demand. Like I've met a lot more translation collectors recently who are, help me find this book. I'm looking for this book. I want a copy of this book. I can't find this book. I'm in Hungary and can't find this book, which is what I'm hearing
Yeah.
from some of the eBay
yep,
sellers
that's what Melanie
now.
said. Yep.
Yeah. So
Yeah,
if you see a
that's-
copy and it's a price you can afford to pay reasonably, I would consider buying.
Yeah, and reasonably, like you said, $150. For this book, that's reasonable
Yeah.
at this point.
Oh,
like,
totally.
They're not around. So like, if you see one, you want to buy it.
Yeah.
Honestly,
Like-
if you really really want it and need it, because I don't think anyone can guarantee that there are going to be more of them.
That feels low to me. The 150 feels low. I would see it being closer to like, I don't know, 253.
Yeah, I was going to say probably about 3.
Yeah.
I feel
I mean,
like that would
it's-
be like a comfortable.
Yeah.
And honestly, that's like if 3 people want it. I mean, who knows what the bidding can get to if it's put on eBay. So.
And I know several people who are looking for it. So, I mean, as the demand is there and they're willing to pay, it could get crazy.
Yep. So that's a Nocturne Eric advice. If you want it, buy it.
Yes.
See something,
Because-
say something.
If
Buy.
you see something, buy something. Well, because like how's this for a? This is how I live sometimes. You can always find a way to make more money before you die at some point, right? But you might not always have the opportunity to spend the money on the thing that you're trying to get.
Right.
Yeah.
Especially if it's no longer made or no longer available. So, like, yeah, whoa, $250. That seems like a lot of money for a book, especially if like one sold for $40 a year ago, right? But you might not have another opportunity to buy this book, so
Right.
Buy it.
that's your choice, right? So
Buy
Right,
the
right,
book.
buy. In sync.
Would you give up all of your books for the feeling of reading the books again for the first time? Beautiful question, by the way.
Oh,
And no, like, I would love to go back in time and read the books again for the first time and have that super exciting experience and feeling of what comes next, but I would not give up my books to do that. I'm too far in. Some of them are way too rare, and if I were to give them up, there's a good chance I probably wouldn't get some of them back again.
I feel like I have a complicated answer to that. Like, one part of my answer is, like, if I were to give all of the books up to reread it for the first time, I wouldn't want the knowledge that, like, I ever collected them to begin with. Like, if you erased all of my knowledge that I collected these Harry Potter translations, then, like, maybe, because who knows, and, like, maybe I'd find my way back and then I'd get to start collecting the books all over again too. I wouldn't necessarily know, like, how hard it would be to find all of them, so, like, that would kind of stink. But I don't know. That would be, like, my only maybe. I'm definitely leaning toward no, I wouldn't. Also because of the fact that I get to watch my daughter, like, experience them for the first time. And I feel like that's going to be kind of like me getting to experience them again for the first time.
I agree with that 100% with your kids experiencing that, because like every kid, I mean, I teach ESL, so I work with a specific group of students at my school, but most of the kids in the school in general know who I am because I'm all over the place. And I always comment when I see people reading the Harry Potter books, and they know I like Harry Potter because I have Harry Potter stuff by my classroom. And like when kids like get to a certain plot point, I'll be like, hey, you're reading Prisoner of Azkaban, that's my favorite book. And they'll like come find me. They're like, oh, Mr. K, like, whoa. Did you know that Scabbers is actually a person? And I was like, of course I did. But like just seeing that level of excitement, like for them, like kind of gives me that little like, just
awesome.
Like happiness. Like, wow, like that's so cool. Like you're experiencing this for the first time and you were so excited. You had to come tell me. Like that's just super cool. So, yeah, I agree with that part of it. And I guess my answer is no, I wouldn't give my books up either because, like Carly said, there's a lot of ones that you would never get back.
Right.
Yeah.
Ever. Looking at you, Asturian.
Asturian,
Yeah.
any of my proofs, like my Bloomsbury proof.
Oh, man.
No. Or like my signed purple proof. No. Or
Oh my gosh, like I have a book that was signed like in person that like J.K. Rowling signed for me, and like to not have that book and that experience, like there's so many memories tied to these
Right.
books. Also, it's
True.
not just oh yeah, I bought like Harry Potter in, I don't know, like Spanish from Barnes and Noble. It's like, oh my gosh, so and so went to China for me and brought these books back, or my dad's friend went to Egypt and got me the Arabic books. Like,
Right.
I
Yeah.
have memories tied to every single one of these books,
Same.
whether they're small memories or huge ones. So, like, that's a big enough reason why I wouldn't be able to sell my collection.
Yeah.
I think the feeling of like anticipation for the next book or like what happens or how does this end, like that can be felt in other books. It's obviously not the same, but like when a new book is coming out from an author that I enjoy, like I look forward to it. Like I want to get it the first day. I want to start reading it. So like I can sort of experience that
Just not with Harry Potter itself.
Just not with Harry Potter itself. So, I mean, I think all of us agree that there are more awesome books to read in the world than just Harry Potter. So
I haven't followed a series since Harry Potter, and to be fair, I get asked a lot about like what other kind of fantasy books do you read? I'm looking for something else, and I'm actually very strange in that I don't read fantasy. I don't read anything like that. Like Harry Potter is like the one anomaly here. Everything else that I read is like biography of favorite people, a travel memoir, and like true crime. Like those are the three, and a few fiction, but I'm really picky about the fiction that I read, so much so that I tend to just reread them. And so I don't follow a lot of series. So I actually haven't experienced the super exciting what comes next moment since Harry Potter ended. But that's okay, because for me it was so magical that I remember how it felt. I remember how excited I was when book 7 came out. I was in Germany and terrified I was going to find out how the series ended before I could get home to the book that I pre-ordered. So much so that my friends went out and got me an English copy, stuck me in a room, told me to read it and not come out till I'm done. Because I was just being
Did they give
fit
you
to
food?
be tied. They left it outside the door.
Or did they push it through the cat flap like in book 2?
There wasn't a cat flap. They just, knocked on the door when it was time to eat.
Well, there wasn't on Harry's room either, and then Uncle Vernon installed it one day.
That's true, but I didn't have an Uncle Vernon.
Kind. So
yeah, I
kind
didn't
of
have
him.
an Uncle Vernon who did that. I just got put in a room and told to read the book and not come out till I'm done. And that's what I did. I read it in 15 hours.
Wow, there you go. Well done.
Yep.
All right, next question.
Did they ever rebuild Hogwarts?
I think the short answer is yes, but like we never really know. They don't talk about it, but they must have.
I
Maybe
would
they
have
just did the
thought
repair.
that they did, but they don't really talk about doing that. I think it's just a given when we see them at the train station. Yeah.
Right, they had to have, because the epilogue, like the kids are going to Hogwarts, so that they did
rebuilt it. It could have been a completely different rebuild though. Like, we're tired of the castle. Let's do
We're gonna make it a pyramid.
Right. Or let's do, a big giant library looking thing, or, whatever. So I don't know. But
short answer,
we
I
know
guess,
there
is
was
yes.
a Hogwarts to go to.
Yeah, that's what you wonder though, like can they repair an entire castle with like the Reparo charm?
Well, the thing is I feel like it would have, this is like a deep question, but I feel like it would have the same sort of like magical properties as like Harry's wand couldn't be repaired because it was damaged so greatly by dark magic. So I feel like because Hogwarts Castle was literally such a magical place, but it was destroyed or torn apart by such dark magic, I feel like there would be a component of it that couldn't be repaired.
Yeah.
Which is interesting because like this is a cool like little, I don't know, like Melanie canon that it could be like Hagrid's magical motorbike adventure, magical creature motorbike adventure. I think I said it wrong. At Wizarding World is like the coaster goes around like these ruins of Hogwarts, and like maybe those are like old parts of Hogwarts that couldn't get rebuilt, and it's actually present times. And like the castle is like the rebuilt parts. But the ride is where, like, OG Hogwarts was. Just saying.
Yeah, I don't know. And, like, you think if, like, let's say, like, the area that the Room of Requirement was in was, like, blown up by dark magic, and they, like, rebuilt the structure that it was there exactly the same, like, would the room still be there?
I think the Room of Requirement's gone forever.
Yeah.
From the Fiend Fire?
Yeah, I think that Fiend Fire's so destructive that there's no coming back from it.
And I feel like, with the
but
first
yet it was
Hogwarts...
contained to the room, though. Like, it didn't come out of the room.
Yes, but, like, it destroyed everything within the room. And I think that it's mentioned in book 7 that, like, they didn't think that it was, like, repairable. Like, I feel like there's a line somewhere in that was like, oh, well... Now, like Harry says, I don't think Ginny's going to be able to, like, go back in there and hide again because he didn't think that the room was, like, there again.
Right.
That sort of thing.
And I think there's a certain line when like what you were saying, where some things are just going to be lost to dark magic. And I think that was probably one of them.
Yeah, I think so.
Yeah, well, so that was actually a good discussion for a seemingly
little
simple question.
Yeah,
Good
job. Good job.
Nice.
All right, so our next one is, what in the series makes you roll your eyes every time that you read it?
This one's hard because
I don't have a roll your eyes thing, but all right, I feel like I have like two answers to this.
Okay, let's hear
one
them.
is like a big answer, and that is like essentially every single time I read Order of the Phoenix. Like I get so like angry every single time I get up to it because in my head Dumbledore literally just had to look at Harry and be like, hey, this is going to be our one conversation for the year because I'm a little nervous about like this connection that it seems that you have with Voldy. But I'm going to go ahead and tell you that he's going to try to plant some stuff in your mind. It's not going to be true. And the thing that he's after is this crystal ball looking thing in this room. And the only way that he can get it, literally the only way he could get it is if you touch it. So whatever you do, don't go touch it. Like everyone's going to be fine. I'm going to protect all the people that you love.
No matter what
Just,
you see. Don't go.
Whatever you see, it's all fake. You're not seeing anything real. Just
Even if
don't
it is
go.
real, don't go. Even if it is real, don't go.
Yep.
Like, exactly. Sirius
That
would
would
still
have
be
changed
alive.
everything.
Couldn't he have written him a note? He could have written a note.
Right.
Exactly.
Or
He
had
spends
Professor
all of
McGonagall write him a
Half-Blood-
note.
He spends all of Half-Blood Prince sending him notes. Literally every
Right.
single time he needs to contact him, he writes him a note.
And it's all given to him by like a different random kid. It's like Angelina Johnson handed him a note. You're like, oh, thanks.
Yeah, what was Angelina Johnson talking to Dumbledore about?
Colin, or maybe she's already graduated, but it's like Colin Creevy handed him a note. You're like, how did he get this note from Dumbledore?
Oh my
It's like
God.
pass him in the hallway. It's like, oh, hey, Colin, you're in Gryffindor. You want to hand this to Harry?
Yeah.
And he's like, yeah, sounds great.
So, like, literally all of Order of the Phoenix, especially, and this is me, I wish you could see my face because this is how angsty I am about Order of the Phoenix, but
Post it on the Instagram.
Harry with that mirror, like, wait
yeah,
a second.
yeah.
Let me go risk all of my friends' lives by sneaking into Dolores Umbridge's locked office to try to contact Sirius because I think he's not there. So let me go prove that he's not there when I have a magic mirror that literally Sirius Black is probably sitting at Grimmauld Place doing absolutely nothing all by himself with this little mirror next to him just waiting for Harry to talk to him. He's got nothing better to do. He's sitting and he's petting Buckbeak and he's probably crying about how lonely he is with this little mirror next to him just waiting. Oh, I wish my godson would just talk to me through this mirror. But no, he has to go and go to Umbridge's office and get everyone in trouble and get people killed and get Sirius killed and it makes me so mad.
Well, and it's a mirror that he literally told him, use this if you ever need to talk to me.
If you ever need to talk to me, just use this mirror. And Harry vowed he would never contact him through this mirror. Literally, a quote from the book. He vowed he would never use the mirror to contact Sirius. But in an emergency? Really? In an emergency where you think that he could be dead? You aren't going to be like, hey, wait a second. I've got this magical mirror that literally would contact me directly to Sirius Black. He's not going to use that? Really? Really?
Oh,
okay.
Melanie,
okay,
I
Order
love
of the
you
Phoenix.
so much.
Okay.
I love you so much.
And that's why I don't like Order of the Phoenix, everybody. Except for like
right.
the last two chapters. But I digress.
I
I
love
think you
so
answered the
much. That
question
was
for the
great.
three of
Yep.
us there. I don't think we can top that answer.
I know. Like, my answer is just kind of like, well, this part's boring. But no, Melanie was great. So I'm just going to go with everything she said.
Thanks.
All
Thanks,
right,
guys.
that sounds good. Let's move on to our last question.
And if y'all agree with Melanie's assessment of Order of the Phoenix, just let us know at Dialogue Alley Podcast.
Yeah, that'd be great.
Yeah, I can't wait. I would love to hear what other people think about Order of the Phoenix.
Yeah, besides the usual Dumbridge.
Dumbridge.
Dumbridge. That was a
Besides
happy
That's what-
accident.
That's what we call her behind her back, Dumbridge.
No, but I will say, as much as I can't stand Order of the Phoenix, like, the Ministry of Magic chapters at the end of that book are probably, like, some of my favorite chapters of Harry Potter.
Oh, they're epic.
Like,
They're very
of the
well
entire
written.
those are my favorite chapters of the entire series. Like, when they go to the Ministry of Magic, when they're fighting the Death Eaters, those are my favorite chapters probably of the entire series.
Yep.
In high contrast to how much I despise the rest of the book.
So you have to keep reading it to get to your favorite chapters.
Exactly. That's how she gets me to finish that book. That's how she gets me to read Order of the Phoenix.
It was done on
because of that
purpose.
ending.
It was done on purpose.
Oh, Joe. Oh, Joe. Oh my gosh. All right.
Anyway.
What's our last question?
Our last question is, what are 3 translations that people aren't buying right now that they should be buying right now? And I'm assuming this means book 1.
Right. Me too. I would say Sinhala. I've seen several Sinhala up on eBay for not a lot of money. And the reason I say that is, yeah, there's a few up on eBay periodically. But the thing about it is it's not a commonly found translation. I get asked quite a bit about, finding Sinhala. And it's not a commonly found one. But when you find it, it tends not to be expensive. So it's one that when you find it, grab it. Like, that's one that kind of mystifies me a little bit.
How about you, Melanie?
I would say this is like a funky kind of answer, but I would say like British original cover art, like first editions of the British books, because the cover art for them has been redone so many times. Like, I've heard from so many people saying like, oh, why would I get these books when like I can go to the store right now and I can get the Johnny Duddle art, which I like so much better, and it's a cohesive set, or I could get the modern paperbacks, which are like, they have beautiful spines, and the hardcovers are really nice. The paperbacks are really nice. They could get those sets, which might be more appealing to them than a mishmashed like set, which is the first edition books, because the first edition books have 4 different illustrators. They're not really a cohesive set. I feel like people that are just trying to get like a translation of book 1 might not necessarily go for that like OG cover art, and they might get like one of the newer edition cover arts instead. So I definitely say do not skip on the classic. Like, go get yourself some Thomas Taylor. That's what you're missing in your life if you don't have it.
I would agree.
True. Well, and if you just want the art, though, you can get the 25th anniversary edition.
That is true.
That's true. There you go. All right. What do you think, Eric?
Well, I interpreted this question as like I needed to pick 3. So.
Oh, I figured we would each pick one.
Oh, well, so I'll give you my 2 then that I don't think of as much, but then I'll give you my main answer. So my first 2 are I think the Breton edition, because they only made 2.
Right.
Right?
Okay.
So they're not making more. And that's kind of how I interpret this question. Like, they've made like 1 or 2, they're not making more. So Breton, Occitan, and which is our favorite art of all time. And the Tamil book is one right now that you should be buying.
Tamil is getting harder to find. I've heard that from people.
My number 1. I bought this book for maybe $12 on Amazon UK, I think, about 3 years ago. And I even bought another copy for the library at my school because we have some Tamil speakers there. So it's in my school library.
That's awesome.
And I bought it for about $12 3 years ago. So I would recommend, if you have not gone to the Harry Potter in Translation Wikipedia page that Sean Potterglot from Canada kind of manages, like, go there, because you can see by language like how many of each book they've printed. So like, if there's 7, it'll list all 7. If there's 1, they'll list 1. But the ones that are like 1 to 2 or 1 to 3 or 1 to 4 and they stopped after that, they didn't finish the series, like, if you see any of those, pick them up, because that means they're not printing more of them. So those should be the first ones that you try to get before they get really difficult to find. And that's not including languages like Latin or like Welsh or ones that, Bloomsbury publishes that you can still buy from their website.
Right.
All right. I think that answers all of our questions.
Yeah.
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 Good job, guys.
We did it. We're
We did
all
it.
caught up. Yay.
We're caught up. Yay.
But on that note, if you guys have any other questions for us that you would like to send in, I'm pretty sure Eric said this before, but I will say it again. Feel free to send us an email at dialoguealleypodcast@gmail.com, or you can always send us a DM at Dialogue Alley Podcast on Instagram, or you could even just directly message us on any of our personal Instagrams, and we'd be happy to chat about it on the show.
Yeah, that works.
And on that note, let's move on to the translation of the show. All right, so today for the translation of the show, we are talking about some really awesome books. And for the first time, our translation of the show is going to be a set. We're talking about a set of books. These are the French Room of Requirement books. The French Room of Requirement set. I think you've heard us talk about this set several times before, because it's one of those sets when all of the books are put together, there's a cool image on the spine, which is...
And boy, is it ever cool.
Mm-hmm.
It is so cool. I believe that it's a Dumbledore's army meeting.
Yes.
In the Room of Requirement, which is why it's called the
Yes.
Room of Requirement set. So pretty cool. And what's neat about it is the spine image is also unique cover art by the cover artist.
Yes.
And the French cover art in general is unique art just to France, which is really, really cool. We'll talk about the cover art a little bit more when we go into our rating scale. The whole French set was translated by the same translator. Carly, I'm going to need your help in pronouncing all these French words.
Okay.
The translator is...
Jean-François Maynard.
Amazing. I would not have been able to say
Oui.
that. Oui. And the publisher is...
Gallimard.
Yes.
Merci beaucoup.
De rien.
Muy bien. So just a little bit. Carly caught on a little bit late. That was
I did.
French.
I was like, wait.
So just a little bit about French, which it's one of the bigger languages that we've talked about on the show. It's an official language in about 29 countries, across multiple continents. It is spoken as a first language in France, obviously, but also the Democratic Republic of Congo, which is really cool. It's in other countries like Morocco. It's in Canada. And it's also a language here in the United States, which is really cool. You'll hear it in Louisiana. You might hear it in Maine, New Hampshire, Vermont, states like that, which is really neat.
Mm-hmm.
Lots of French.
It's a lot of French.
It's a lot of French.
Beaucoup.
Oh, yes.
Oh. Oui.
We'll just keep saying oui, because that's all we know. Je m'appelle Melanie. That's
Très bien.
also what I know.
Como
how to say.
tu t'appelles?
Um,
Le petit déjeuner.
Omelette
Breakfast.
du fromage.
Omelette du fromage. That's from Dexter's Laboratory.
Yes.
Yes. Sorry,
That's all
French
I know.
speakers. We really do love you.
We love these books so much.
Yes, we do.
French is estimated to have about 76 million native speakers and about 235 million daily fluent speakers of French. That is so
cool.
There are so many people that speak French. It's awesome. Obviously, we all know a little bit. We don't know a lot of it. So in talking about this set specifically, Carly, what would you say? Like, if you gave it from a scale to like 1 to 5, 5 being the most difficult, how hard do you think it is to obtain this set?
I would say between a 3 and a 4. It's not easy anymore, and when you find it, it's expensive. Like between €200 and up.
Yeah, I don't know what happened when I got my set. I found this set on eBay for like next to nothing. I think it was like $50. I'm not even kidding.
Whoa.
Good
And
job.
I bought it because I had never seen it before. And I was like, hey, this is a cool set. I'm going to buy this. And then all of a sudden, everyone was like, whoa, where'd you get that set? I need to get that set. And that was when everybody started getting this set. It just, all of a sudden, they started popping up. And something else that we should mention about the set is that it's a numbered box set.
Right.
There were only 20,000 of this set made. So we were talking about this before. I want to know what everybody's numbers are.
Okie doke. Mine is 58.95.
Wow.
58.95. So like 5,895.
Yes.
I am later. I'm 18,257.
Whoa.
Yeah.
Whoa.
That is pretty late. Mine is 7,850
Okay, good job.
out of 20,000. That's really cool. Like,
Yes.
just neat. I love numbered things, and it's so cool that like all three of us have this. It's one of X
20,000.
amount, and
Yeah.
there we go. We each have them. They're like brothers,
Or sisters.
brothers or sisters, distant.
How did your boxes do? Like, my box is not wearing very well, guys.
Mine's awesome. Like, mine's in really good shape.
All my
I would
corners
say-
are
I got-
split.
No, I would say
Oh, mine's perfect.
considering mine is like in pretty good shape. My corners are like a little bit knocked up, but it's holding together really well. The whole the whole box is definitely held together.
Mine is definitely not.
Aw.
But it came that way. Like, that's exactly how it came. And I actually got a pretty good deal on the box set. It doesn't, these also come with cartoons by the illustrator, but mine didn't come with the cartoons, which is why I didn't pay a whole lot for mine. So I knew it didn't have the cartoons when it was coming. If I ever found another one for sale with cartoons, I may consider buying it, but I'm pretty happy as is.
Well, I got mine from a wonderful gentleman in France named Justin. He helped me find it.
Yeah.
I feel like that's how you get these now.
It
Like,
is.
You have to find someone in France to get them from some sort of like Craigslist or Facebook Marketplace type.
Well, yeah,
site
because they're
in
not.
France.
They're
Otherwise, if
they're only on the secondary market.
right. You can't buy these new anymore. So
Yep.
again, like the Hungarian book in the listener mail section, like if you want one of these and you see one for sale,
Buy it.
Buy it.
See it,
Like-
buy it.
Yep.
Buy it. See it. Buy it.
See it, buy
Just
it.
get it.
Why don't we all grab one of our books and we'll do a quick little rating scale. So I have book 1 in my hand. I don't know if you guys want to grab a different book. in
I've
your
got
set.
book 4.
Look at that.
I have book 2.
Nicely done.
Open that book up and take a little whiff.
Yep.
I'd give mine like an exceeds expectations. I like how it smells.
A for me, acceptable.
Yeah.
Don't love it. Don't hate it.
I'm gonna have to say, like, this is probably more like poor.
Whoa. We
that's
all
fine.
got different schnozzes today.
Well, like, mine just smells like bad glue.
No, I dig it. I dig this book.
It's not
fine.
sweet. It just smells like bad glue.
All right. Size and proportion, I'd give this an outstanding.
Same. I love the size of the small French books.
They are so tiny and they're just so cute, and
and they're little.
love the
They're
size of
almost
these books.
perfect little squares. Like, how can you not just want to read it?
They're perfect. They're just adorable books.
I know.
Love the size. Outstanding.
I
Eric, what do you
agree.
think?
I say exceeds expectations. My hands are a little bit bigger. Sorry, my hands are bigger, and I think now that I'm looking at it, like I want to pick up number 5. Like number 5, it's so thick yet so small that would be hard to read. I think,
All
in
right.
my opinion.
All right. Well, okay. So for the book that you have in your hand, how do you think that book feels in your hand? Because I think I love how book 1 feels in my hand. Again, I'd give it an outstanding. I just love that this book is small. It's one that I'd throw it in my bag and be ready to go read Harry Potter.
Well, I've got book 4 in my hand, and I love how it feels in mine. Not as wide as book 5, of course, but I really like how it feels in my hand.
Book 2 is what I have. I'd give it an O because it is, I mean, they're so light. Like, they feel durable, but they're very light to hold. So even if you're holding book 5, which I will pick up again, like, it's a big book, but it doesn't feel awful to hold.
Right.
Yeah.
So I give it an O.
And then the quality of the book, I would say, like, the only reason why I'm going to give it just an exceeds expectation is because I notice in my book 1 that I have that the cover is a little bit shorter than the pages. And like,
so was mine for book 2.
It's like once you see it, you can't unsee it. And like, I just wish that the cover was like bigger than the pages because then it doesn't protect the pages.
It's the same for book 4, by the by.
Every book in the series is like that.
Yeah.
Unfortunately.
But I do love that it's like, it's for a soft cover. I like these like floppy soft covers that you can kind of just like open, fold over, and it's not going to damage the cover.
Right. And ruin the spine. Like, it's not going to just ruin everything.
Yeah. So I definitely give that like a high exceeds expectation for the quality of the book.
Yep.
And then for cover art or interpretation, it's going to get an outstanding for me just because I like that it takes the French cover art. It makes it a little bit different by adding these beautiful borders. Each border is a different color in this set. I love the spine and how the spine makes an image, and just all of the French cover art I think is fantastic on its own. So
I would agree.
I'll add to, like, as a box set, you can't ask for anything more. Like, the spine makes art, right? Mm-hmm. It comes with additional art, which is unique. The box itself, the top and the bottom look like pages of a book. Like, the whole thing looks like one giant leather book. You could put it any direction on your shelf and it would be cool to look at. It's textured at the top. Like, the book is textured. It looks like it's an old book with like mold on the pages, but it's not. So the whole thing to me is just an outstanding package in general.
Right.
All the art is awesome. The only thing I will say is that when it arrived at my house, I was surprised at how small the set was.
Yes, I think it's my smallest box
It's
set.
very small.
very tiny because they're small books, but
Right.
Yeah, right. Which isn't a bad thing. I was just very surprised when I got it. Like, whoa, this book is, this whole thing is small because compared to the German Rainbow set, which is like the biggest set of all time.
Yeah, I mean, and I can say, like, if you do flip through this book, you can see that like the margins on it are very, very tiny. There's not artwork throughout the books too, so that helps to keep the book small. So those are all little things that are gonna add up to it.
Yeah.
But yeah, those are the French Roof Requirement books. Pretty spectacular.
They're awesome.
They
I've
are.
debated like framing the prints that are in there, but I haven't yet. But they would be very good to hang up.
I agree. They're so nice.
They are. I love the French cover art.
Me too.
Mm-hmm. All the time we have today. If you want to get in touch with us, you can find me on Instagram at All the Pretty Books. Erik is not Turd Erik, and Melanie is the Harry Potter Collection. Remember, you can find Dialogue Alley on Apple, Google, and all your other favorite podcast hosting locations. You can also find us on Instagram, Dialogue Alley Podcast. Here's where you can find pictures of things that we talked about today. If you like what you hear, please make sure to leave us a written review and spread the word and send your friends our way. We will be most appreciative. And now it's time to walk back through the archway, grab a drink from your favorite Porous Pot pub, and into your daily lives. We'll catch you next time. Bye.
Bye.
See ya.